Hey Collective, it's Al and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about the era that we're in a very candid way. At this frequency, most of you already know what era we are in as far as timelines, but let's go over something that I found very interesting. So y'all know I'm not supposed to watch the news and all that stuff because what you listen to and what you absorb and believe in at this time is crucial to what's going to happen now that the king is returning. You have to understand that when the king does return, that there's a set of events that will start to play out. And I had mentioned before that it starts with an earthquake, and it has to do with the church and all that stuff. And so I just wanted to go over the interest that I've particularly had in the fact that there are a lot of people out there who didn't get the message that I was trying to say about the fact that you can't outrun a virus, and that putting in toxins and stuff into your body doesn't really work because you're not getting the message. So viruses mutate. That is what they do. That's what they always do. So now all this money that we've spent on this particular thing in order to somehow circumvent the fact that the king is returning, not getting the point that the only way to go through these doors is to find a higher power, whether it be Allah or God or whatever you believe in. And so by not doing that, you are now seeming surprised that it's now mutated like they do, and that you have now put in all these toxins that have no bearing on the new strain. I don't know what else to tell you guys to get you to wake up on this. Like, when it comes to this particular era, the best thing you can do is start finding a higher power, start getting your shit together, and start looking at life for what it really is. Are you living in your last days? If you are, then you understand that you need to do as much karmic cleaning as you can do, and stop fighting something that is inevitable. There is no fear here. This particular thing seems to be attaching itself to anger and to fear specifically. And so those of you who are intuitive are starting to notice a pattern that you'll be minding your own business and in super, like, especially if you are in alignment with God, Allah, and whatnot, you are super happy and you're living a wonderful life and you're not experiencing fear and all of the stuff that everybody else is experiencing. But you'll have a day where you walk out, just walking outside, you immediately feel toxic. You immediately feel oppressed. You immediately feel angry. You immediately feel all of these feelings. And you're like, where is this coming from? This is not my energy. Like, say, some of you may have had a very hard day yesterday, and many of you may have had a day where you couldn't sleep yesterday. I need everyone on this frequency to start paying attention to the signs, to really stand in your power. If you see it that way, then stop what you're doing instead of just rushing home and do what I did yesterday, which is to observe the people around you. Are they acting overly aggressive? Are you being is there extra pressure being added to you? And is it directed at you, or is everybody around you suddenly agitated? If it is that, then go home. Do what I did. Turn your little butt. I took my ass straight home. And I went, this is not my energy. This is not my, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to, do the best I can to get this energy out of me. And what I did is I just sang, and I didn't close the doors. I didn't do anything weird. I just sat in my own house, and I was like, okay, something's up. And sure enough, wouldn't you know it, then I heard the weirdest song. It was an ice cream truck passed by with London Bridges falling down. That song, London Bridges falling down, falling down, falling down. And so then the news came on, and I was like, because my roommate put it on, and I was like, okay, that's just a little weird. That's just a little strange. And so I wanted everybody to kind of just sit in that space and to just find your energy and center it for what I'm about to say. If you are righteous, if you are in the right hand of God, and if you are in the right sphere of energy, then these things will not attack you, right? They have no place for the devil to hold on to. Remember that. And so when you feel that, immediately just know what to do. Cleanse yourself, make sure that you understand what it is that came up. Because I had a moment where, I'll be very personal, I think for about 20 minutes I was trying to walk home because I had already walked that far, and I took a back rate. And so I didn't really encounter a lot of people, so I didn't understand, but I could feel like I was like, I'm exhausted. Why am I so, I'm just so tired. I don't want to do this. And like, just suddenly, like, stuff that wasn't my, and immediately I said to the universe out loud, I go, this is not my energy. I don't know what's going on. Am I alchemizing something? Like, am I trying to convert energy of other people? Like, I didn't understand. And so then I got to a court, and then that's when I started to interact with other people. And they were all super aggressive. They were all super angry. They were all super, like, attacky. And then some guy actually said this to me. He said, oh, he, like, just trying to pick a fight with me. He goes, oh, Raiders fan like that. And then he goes, fuck the Saints. And I went, yeah. And I just looked at him, and I was like, I have no power to him. I just looked at him, and I immediately went, okay, I'm going home. And I turned around, and I just started beeline straight home, because I was like, who the fuck is going to say fuck the Saints right now? And I was just like, oh, okay. And so I just wanted everybody to understand that, because it wasn't like I didn't see the wave. Like, it was a wave that came through. And it's usually marked when when it appears, to me at least, that when this stuff happens, that it sweeps zones. And so, like, you'll just see everybody suddenly get super violent or super aggressive, or they can't, like, people that normally get along really well will suddenly start bickering with each other. And I'm just like, okay. And so just do what I do. Just turn around and go and find what it is that you've said in that moment, what you've absorbed, because when you are in alignment with a higher power, then you are immediately able to do what I do, which is say, this is not my energy, and immediately put the universe on alert that whatever is about to come out of your mouth, just go, I'm sorry, I'm working through something. That's what I say. And I'm just giving you guys that, because we are living in those days. And no matter how you want to slice it, it's just time to accept what it is and understand that there is either going to be, either you're going to be part of a new heaven, or you're going to be left with the new earth. Right? But the new earth and the new heaven have to be transformed, and they have to go through this change. And so if you are not in right alignment, if you are still divisive, if you're still stuck to the house and not to the word of God, and you're still not in a personal relationship with that, then you're going to experience what's to come in a very, very bad way. It's not going to be fun for you at all. And I'm just supposed to deliver it just like that. It's not going to be fun for you. If you are worried about what other people are going to think of you, remember, the only energy that you need to be focused on is what God thinks of you right now. The kids' games are over. Like, at this point, the anti and all of that stuff is already in play. There's nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is have the art of dying and the art of living your life. The only way to make it through to where we're going is to be appreciative and have an attitude of gratitude, and to stop trying to run from something that you know is our Heavenly Father. If you have done wrongs to other people, this is the time that you need to make right those things that you've done. If you feel you have done something to someone who is a righteous person, especially, I really think you guys need to really understand that we are in karmic Geddon. This is when all of the stuff that's coming is set. Those of you who are in this alignment, in this frequency, you know where we're at. Make peace with it. Whatever happens is by design. It is what the Holy Father wants for us. If it is our time to go, it is our time to go. Then celebrate your life every day. Walk outside and enjoy the flowers. Look at the colors. Look at the schemes. Bring heaven to earth, so it will be an easier transition for you in the long run. Only the Heavenly Father knows who has the pure hearts that will stay on earth and help transition the others. You don't have to do it. It is up to those who are willing to be at peace with whatever comes their way. And that's the easiest way to express this. You must have a pure heart. And you must have purified. And you can take it to the extreme. You can do whatever you want. But understand that at the end of the day, God is talking to you directly. Allah, whoever it is directly speaking through you to you. And so every time that you ignore your intuition or don't do what is being said, like if someone says to you in your intuitive voice that says, you don't need to go that far, and you go that far, and then you get mad that you did that, well, you have only yourself to blame at that point. This is a time of intuition. Remember, one of the things that's very catch-22 in this whole scenario is that during this era, the rapture comes to the church first, and people are like, oh, well, they get to... Yes, but you don't understand that the rapture is both. It's judgment for all parties involved. So those who are child molesters and predators, because that's one of the confusing parts, is that they say that the Antichrist will go after the churches. Well, that's really easy for you to say when you don't house child molesters. But as long as you have child molesters, you're actually giving more power to the Antichrist energy. energy. Like, I don't understand why people are confused by this. So that's why the rapture comes through the church first. It's because it's going to get judged the hardest. Those that touch children, those that did anything that put slavery or anything that really hurt society are going to pay for it. And those that are righteous go to the new earth. Well, technically the new heaven. You see what I'm saying? But you have to be willing to understand what God is trying to tell you all, because if you're caught in these houses when they come crashing down, you will either get it from the divine or you're going to get it from the Antichrist. So those are your two options. So you can wait till the last minute and try to pray that the king saves you at that point. But if you are not in a place of holiness where you are whole and you understand that you are walking with the divine, that you are a servant of the divine, and that you are finding your salvation through your own intuitive power, your own state of understanding, then you are going to go with the rest of them. It's that simple. And it's one of these messages that is supposed to be just very direct with you guys, because we're at that point. This is when everything just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And each seal's already been, like, there's seals that have already been broken. And I want you guys to remember what the scriptures say about the fact that there will be rumors of war. Rumors. Okay? And that there will be the surrogacy, the mistress, the slave girl will give birth to her mistress. We can't be any clearer. But in order to understand what's happening to you, do not vilify. It doesn't matter. If you don't like me, then don't like me. But I am a servant of God, and you're going to have to deal with it. Because at this point, it doesn't affect me. But what I'm trying to arm you all with is the fact that the divine is very clear at this moment in time right now, before April 4th comes. Before Easter comes. Those gates will close. And if you are worried about what other faiths are doing and all this other stuff, then you ain't getting in. You are not getting in. This is the time of great tribulation, and we are already past that point, and y'all know what I mean. And so, you must stand in something sacred among yourself. And so I wanted to just go over a couple things. When these things, viruses and whatnot, come around, they are there's like a shadow that goes first, right? There's suddenly, you will see that you are suddenly filled with a little bit more aggression and anger that comes out of nowhere. That's a sweeping wave of change. I also want you guys to pay close attention to the fact that they are cremating the bodies of those that passed through this portal that way. Those that are judged and do not return, they are cremated. Why? What does Scripture say about what returns? Y'all need to start thinking outside the box here, because you're getting lost in specific wording that is doctored by people who are not walking in alignment. These are people who have corrupted the Word of God. You must stand in your own truth at all times. If you fall for what other preachers or other people are saying, then understand that you're tied to those preachers. Right? And so this is a time for you to stand in your power and speak for yourself and the people who will be following you. This is like the biggest test that we're ever going to have. So you must understand that. So when you get these poisons and put into your body, I've said it before, nothing that takes only 4 months to make is going to be good for your body. So there's two sides to this. Okay? Those of you who are in alignment, you understand that only the divine can grant people immunity to what comes. Get it? Anything that you put into your body is a twofold. You are running in fear, and from that fear you might be making a poor choice, because again, something that takes only 4 months does not work. Especially when you find out, which was obvious, that they mutate. If things mutate, and now that becomes obsolete, then you just handed all this money to people that knew that it was going to mutate. That's why we have the shots every year, is because it changes every year. Start thinking with your brain and your heart and align yourself with the truth of what's happening so that you're not shocked if it ends. These are temporary experiences where we learn within an academy for the soul. The soul is at a point where you must make the right choices. This is a cleanse. This is a reset. This is going to be. This is the world. You must take accountability for your own actions. If you have ciphered money from someone that you love, this is when you make amends to that person. If you have done something where you vilify their name and speak ill of them, this is when you come to that person and let them cleanse that. Because at this point, the divine is specifically pointing people out in your life that hold the key to your future. Essentially, they are specific vessels that the divine has chosen to speak through and to reach as many people as they can. But I have a particular thing here where I'm talking to the people that are the vessels that are going to, that the judgment may pass through. You see what I'm saying? So the frequency that we're at here, if you are listening to this, understand that you are, sometimes you're the test, and you have to make peace with that. It's okay. Everybody wants to be the prophet. Everybody wants to be the vessel that does this or that, but no one wants to be the test. Well, I'm sorry. Part of the blessings come from being the test. And so understand that there are people that are going to have to come clean with you, and you're going to hear things that they did to you, and it's because their soul understands who you are. They understand that you are the person that they have to come right with. And you're going to have to, well, you don't have to. I'm not going to say have to, because I give everybody freedom. And I know the divine's really big on free will, but ask yourself, before you got in alignment with the divine, you had sinned. We had all sinned. We wouldn't be in this great academy of earth if we had not done something, if we were not here to learn lessons, if we did not carry our own crosses to bear. So don't judge them. Remember who you are and understand that some of these souls are not coming with us. They're not going with us. So remember that and be humble. Be very gracious. Listen to what they say and do what I'm going to do, which is this. I hear you. I hear you. I understand. I don't have to accept shit, but I'm going to be the bigger person and not engage in the fighting. You know, if it's family that did me wrong, if there are lies, manipulation, all that, which there are everywhere, then you're the test, which means you're also being tested. How do you handle the knowledge of truth? Because you are a truth bearer. If you can't handle the intake of the truth into your soul, then you are not, how can you be of service in order to bear the truth to others? Because then we interject what we want to say. We interject how people are going to feel about what we're saying. We're going to try to be popular. We're going to lose fans. Who do you work for? And I'm being asked specifically to be this candid with everybody because we're at a point where there's no turning back. So align yourself with what you need to do, because you are going to hear things now that will shock you and that will bring tower moments to you because of the level of deceit and lies around you. Because you are worthy of going through. But the only way sometimes to go through is to get all the pieces. And when that comes, or as much as the divine wants you to have, in order for you to just let it go. Because where we're going, you can't look to the past. So welcome the energy. Be brave, be courageous, and just say, I got this. I got this. The divine doesn't pick, pansy ass, kids that just aren't responsible. You are blessed with alignment with the divine for a reason. And so anything that they're about to hurl at you. Now remember, when I say hurtle, it's not going to be most of the time people saying negative shit about you. That's their own karma. That's you that doesn't bother you. It's the fact that a lot of them will have been Judases to your life. And that's a bigger thing to have to contend with. So just expect it. Thank God for the lessons in it, and just accept the fact that you're going to hear it. What you do from then on is up to you and the divine. That is not for me to say. But understand that in order for them, they have to do it, and the divine's going to, and the angels and archangels are going to be working with these people, because at the end of the day, you're already going to be safe in the. You see what I'm saying? So in order for them to even get on the radar now, it's going to be a lot of us who are going to be the key holder, right? And it's not something that we judge. It's not us. It's the divine is just using us as lessons, as the test. And if they don't do right by the test, then they don't get the attention that they need. It's a blessing, but you have to hold the power within yourself very quietly into the chest, and just expect to hear things that you didn't want to know, but at the same time you needed to know, because now you can move forward. And you forgive. I mean, I have an easier time forgiving people because I have empathy for others. But that doesn't mean I'm going to hang out with them or any of that stuff. For me, it's going to be, I need to listen to what is presented to me now and that's what I recommend us all, is what is it that they've done. Listen, absorb the information without taking on the feelings to it, and just go, okay then. I know that's harder said than done sometimes, but I'm being told to just prepare you all. Okay. So, here's the thing I want to mention about fear. So, if you are afraid of going home to the Heavenly Father, if you are afraid that this is it for you, and you don't understand that we are immortal souls that live temporary experiences, then this art of dying aspect is going to be rather trying for a lot of the people that we are surrounded by. Just remind them, as sweetly as you can, that they're immortal already. If they are right with God, and if they are right with Allah, or whoever they pray with a higher power than themselves, and if they bring beauty and charm into the world, if they produce non-toxic things, if they are welcoming to all people, if they are holy, if they are doing their best to ease the minds of others, then that's all they can. That's a good life. Ask them, do they go out and enjoy the beauty of the trees? Do they go out and let their hair down? Do they go out and enjoy sunlight? Do they go out and relish in the smallest details of architecture? Do they enjoy the little cherub babies on buildings? Do they go out and play with their kids on a daily basis, even if they're tired? Because they brought them into the world? Do they go out in the rain and sing in the rain like I'm going to do today? Like, do you go out and enjoy this beautiful experience? Because unless you do that, then you are not living, and so then you're not going to go through. You must rejoice in the smallest thing. The attitude of gratitude is what we need now. So, every morning I wake up, and here's what I say. I say, good morning, Heavenly Father, for waking me up. And I say hello to my guides. I say hello to my security. I say hello to my all these people that I'm not going to go into, because I have a whole thing that's going on in the background of my life. But I say thank you to them, and I go. I say it's going to be a wonderful day. I'm going to go out. I'm going to take a walk. And people are like, oh, you're such a Pollyanna. I'm like, yes, but this Pollyanna's ass is going into those gates. God is watching and it's not because I'm doing it because it's because God's with me, because I have God in communion with me every second of every day of all my life. And even when I learned the lesson, I said I had to learn 5 lessons yesterday, and y'all know lessons are not always the easiest things. I'm sorry, the whiskers again. I gotta trim them down. But I love the beer. I mean, look at all this beautiful white. I earned this. I have earned this white. Gandalf the Grey goes Gandalf the White. But I had to literally thank the God for all the lessons, and there were a lot yesterday, because there was that whole wave of anger that came to me. I was like, where is this coming from? And I was like, oh, I better close those windows, and I better make sure that I'm in a good place. And my guides were just started kind of giggling. But I said I had to learn a lot yesterday, and so when you start to experience these tests, and you start to enjoy them, because once you get it, then it's just fun. I'm just going to tell y'all straight up. When you're in alignment, it's just fun. I don't care if you failed the fucking test. Yesterday, I didn't. I thought I did horrible, and my guides were like, no, you did great. But it was because I immediately knew what to say, which is, okay, God, I don't know what's going on, but this is now my energy. Don't listen to what I'm about to say right now. Let me purge. Let me just purge whatever this shit's coming out of my mouth right now, because it was just stuff that wasn't mine. I was just like, what is this? And I remembered that this had happened before when the virus first came through. That there would be bouts of anger with people, and it wasn't direct. It was never usually directed at me. But remember that you beget what you invest in. So at that time, I started to encounter people but that's part of the test. Do you understand that it's not you? Can you separate yourself from the environment? Do you understand that the environment is under strain? Do you understand that there's something going on in your space, in your vicinity, and do you know how to deal with it? So that was the lessons for yesterday. But I was grateful. I was super excited. I was like, oh, that was a good test. And then this became true, and then that changed, and I was like, oh, okay, I get that. And it's the rejoicing of life, because when you get these things and if you see it as a test, then you pass or fail. There's no way to really enjoy the experience. But when you actually are in alignment, then these tests become lessons, and then the lessons are kind of badass, and you're like, oh, okay, I can improve on that. You stop you're not victimized by it. You understand that it's empowering you, and I think that's a bigger blessing than you can possibly know. But when it comes to your followers, or people that that hear your voice, I'm not going to say followers because only the king has followers, but let's say that you have a plethora of people who subscribe to to your, let's use YouTube because I'm on YouTube, that subscribe to YouTube and they are following you, well then that's a blessing in itself. But understand, I shouldn't say but there, understand though that you have extra responsibility to ensure that you are not being divisive and stuff like that, and not instilling fear or anger into the world, because then it's just like you're kind of you're because then they can't get their own path. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't limit how others get to their truth, because every individual has a specific understanding with the divine of how this is going to work out. Every soul has purpose. Every soul has a purpose on this planet. And so this is when they're going to figure it out or not figure it out. So you don't want to be a block to that. You want to just be the vessel that brings a wide array of options and possibilities to them, so that the divine can work with them and contact them under the right context. But that's my own personal thing. I'm just going to tell you, the divine specifically told me to point that out, that if you have people that are, what is the word that they use here on YouTube? Subscribers. That understand that you have a lot of power. Wield it very, very judiciously. Okay, so attitude of gratitude. So every day I say that. So I give thank you for my morning, and I get up and I do my prayer, and then I get dressed and I shower and all that stuff, and then I usually say something sweet about myself just to get my day going, like "you're so cute," or what else? I say "you're so cute" a lot because I went through a long period of time where I had low self-esteem. Well, it wasn't that bad, but I had low self-esteem. I have this thing where I'm interested in like the opposing look, right? So I tend to like green eyes, blue eyes, or like light brown eyes with like blonde hair. I like contrast, so it's usually going to be like, you know, or like an African American man with like light eyes, and because I like contrast, I like the texture to all details, right? And it has nothing to do with anything else other than just I like to see opposing sides in people's faces. And so I'm very brown eyed and very brown haired, and I felt very regular. And though I appreciate the beauty in others who are Hispanic, it's not my cup of tea. So I get up in the morning and I say, "Hey, sexy," or "Ooh, look at those eyes," or something that's really affirming, or "Look at those boobs," whatever it is that makes your day go off on that right note, right? And it starts my attitude of gratitude. And so then, you know, because I'm still walking with the divine, and I you know, part of the task is to not seek materialism. So even though I really want to be doing other stuff, you know, it's just not the right time to do certain things, and I have to wait for the alignment, and you know, other planes need to come in, and I need to. Y'all, don't get me wrong. I get stressed with this other people not doing what they're supposed to be doing thing. I get it. Like, I totally get it. But at the end of the day, the divine has a plan that we don't see. So we don't know if they're on hold, and we don't know that they're on hold. You see what I'm saying? So it's maybe a little inconvenient, but then that's a lesson to learn. Then you're trying to rush things. And so you have to have that grace and all that stuff. And so that's gotten a lot easier for me. Except yesterday. Because that wave came through, and I was like, woo, I was hot. I was hot for about 2 minutes. Like fully hot, and because I could feel it, and I knew that it wasn't me. But you know, the universe is willing to understand what you say. So if you speak it into the universe, and they understand that you're going through something, that you're purging something out, that you don't know where it's coming from, but it's not your energy, then you're speaking your truth. And if it's in alignment, remember your heart and all of you is being weighed, and so that is the purity of your nature and your heart that they are weighing. And so if you are honest like that, then you just pass right through the test. Doesn't matter what you're saying, because you are honestly being in alignment, because you know that it's not your energy. You see what I'm saying? So attitude of gratitude. And so then I go out and I walk around the block, and I enjoy the beauty of like the blue skies, or like I'm really big into right now gray skies, because gray skies are going to clear up, put on a happy face. Like I just go that extra mile, and I'm just, because it's not anything forced, it's actually very natural to me, but I focus on the texture to life. So like I'll stop and I'll see, there's this beautiful tree that I see every day that has those leaves. It's like a very odd green with like edges that are white, and then a little hue of purple and a little hue of yellow, and it just stands out in the light. And I just stand and I look at that tree a lot, and then I will pass it and go, I want that tree in my garden. And so I spend a lot of time in my life when I'm not doing anything, because you know I'm being told that I have to wait, and so and to be patient, and that you know my strength of character and my courage and my bravery is going to get me through. And so I just got to go with it. And so, but I'm also being advised to like pick color schemes. And so like I go out and I look at like the other day I went by and I started looking at houses that were yellow, and I was like, well, I don't like that pale yellow thing that doesn't look cute in a house. And I was like, okay, not being all judgy, but I think I like the canary color. And so I'm picking out my palette for something that I can't see yet. But your guides and this Holy Spirit will speak to you. And so will your guides, and so will the angels, and so will the archangels. They will all speak to you in different ways. But remember, I had gone over yesterday with the 4 archangels, what their colors are. And so a lot of the colors they pay attention to seem to be directed in those colors. Like, it's not just any purple, it's violet that I specifically like. It's not any green I like. I like candy apple green is my favorite color. And then if I see a blue, it's usually a almost metallic blue. Like, I like that blue color that stands out. Like, I used to have this thing where I had a room and when I was a younger person, there was ice blue. Like, it was just cold. And people used to say that I had a cold heart. And then I was like, or I'm just like an ice princess. Like, maybe I'm just an ice princess. And like that song Let It Go was in my head yesterday. Let it go, let it go. Anyway, but those are things of like attitude of gratitude. And so then I go and let's say I'm blessed with a way to have food, whatever food I want. But I pick salads. So I go and I pick out the right salad for me that day. And so I love Cobb salad. That's my favorite salad. So I'll go get my Cobb salad and I'll go get a Coke because y'all know I got a Coke. And then I go and I don't do sweets anymore. I used to do a lot of sweets, but now because of the Coke, like I had to pick. And since we're in the purification, which you really guys purify, since we're in the purification, I'm allowed juices. Never mind. I was going to say a naughty joke, but I don't think it's I'm going to say it anyway. So I didn't have to fucking go and buy protein, but now I got to go fucking buy protein now that I'm on this celibacy thing. Look, the divine basically tells me I'm a gentleman. At least that's what he says. So I'm going to be a gentleman for this time period. And it's so funny because I used to have a chip on my shoulder, but why do I have to be celibate till I get married? I mean, I am not a vessel virgin. And I just laugh about it. I'm like, no, I get it. Cleaning the seed and all that stuff. But don't get me wrong, y'all. I'm human too. We are all human, and that's one of the great things about being on this frequency is that y'all know that we have a sort of sense of humor. And that we're going to, sometimes we trigger each other, but it's usually in jest. And it's kind of the way the angels and archangels kind of, mess with you a little bit every now and then. It's like, after I made the comment about Raphael yesterday, about the bottle, like all night long, pop, 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 pop. And I was like, Raphael. But here's the thing about that. So, I know a lot of you had trouble last night sleeping. Sometimes when you think that you're having trouble sleeping, it's for protection. You see, there's something in Scripture that speaks to that he will come in the dead of the night, or he will come in the night, and will get those that basically warning you not to fall asleep in that. And so I know that that's probably not literal, but I've noticed when these waves come through of like anger and aggression that I see break out around me, and I witnessed it in my roommates and just in the environment, and immediately came home because I was like, I don't need to feed into that energy. I don't need to have that in my life. And so that's why I immediately went to like good, sometimes I listen to Christian music. I'm not Christian, but I'll listen to the music because I really like the vibration and I like it. But mostly I listen to opera or classical music or I'll go on and put like really high vibe stuff like People Like Us and like all that's the good music that y'all know that I put on my playlist and stuff. But I realized that I could not sleep. Actually, no, I'll rephrase. I was put to sleep early in the afternoon. My higher self knows me really well. And so my higher self, suddenly, because I have all this energy, and suddenly I did not have energy when I realized what was going on, and I realized that it was a protection thing. So I went to sleep immediately, passed out, didn't wake up till like, I think it was 10 o'clock at night, and then I woke up. And then I was up all night long. And so I realized that listen to your rhythm. If suddenly you can't sleep, but everyone else is in a state of aggression that whole entire day, then what's going on at night may be affecting you as well. So just trust your intuition. If your intuition says you're not sleeping tonight, then you're not sleeping tonight. And just go, okay, well, I guess they're resetting, whatever it is. But understand that you are being guided, and your highest self will always protect you when it needs to be protected. So trust your instinct. If you did not sleep last night, then there is a reason. Something was going on in the night. And so just trust yourself and just go, okay, well, let me read this book. Because y'all know I'm reading this book. This is the book that I found in perfect condition, and I'm still reading. Well, I try to read 3 pages, but I also have a lot of work that I do and a lot of research that I do. Y'all know that it took me a minute to research all that stuff. So, but I love doing my research. But this is called Prayer Can Change Your Life, and so I'm still reading that book. And look, it's perfect condition. I'm telling you, the archangels treat me really well. And it's raining today. Oh, it's gorgeous. But again, attitude of gratitude. See, that's what I'm saying. So for me, even though it seems like, a little bit Piscean, but we are in the Pisces era, it may seem a little Piscean to be this joyful about life. Where are we in life? If you're not experiencing the joy and the attitude of gratitude every day, then you can't be present. Because if you're present, then every day you accept the blessings that you see. And every day there's like a gift or something that I find for me on only me. Or I find something that means something to me. And it's kind of like, do you see your abundance? Because you can't ask for more unless you appreciate what you have. Right? And so that's kind of the message that I really want to put out there right now. Is that I know that yo, this ain't nothing. I don't know how else to phrase this to you. This is nothing. This is going to get way, just... Ugh. You know what I mean? We passed the tribulation. We on the way to something else. And there were earthquakes that already started, and there's another one. It's just... Align yourself with the purity of nature and life. Thank God for every blessing you have. I don't care if you are poor as shit and you have no money to the world. Do you have spiritual sovereignty? Are you standing in spiritual wealth? Because I am. And every day I'm blessed by seeing the beauty of life. And attitude of gratitude. And then usually I stop midday. Someone had advised that we try to pray at least 3 times a day. But I'm in communion with God all day long. But I still stop. I don't know why. But I still stop randomly. And I'll go, hey, thank you for the food. Thank you for... my room. It's a little warm at night, but I love it because I can open the window, and always make the positive shine over whatever else, because nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. You can sit there and think that you have a gazillion dollars. How does that working for you? Alone, tired, bitchy, not feeling it, always sad and always angry, and I don't understand why I just feel like I can't accomplish anything. I feel blah blah blah. I'm stressed out. Then you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, because Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful... You know what I mean? But you have to find that attitude of gratitude. And people get so annoyed by me. And I just look at them and I go, wow, that's not a good projection to have. If the person that's happy and that is, trying to uplift humanity is the problem to you, then that's not even manipulation. That's just a question. Really? You worried about the guy who's trying to take the child molesters out of the church? You're worried about the person who's trying to end working with others to help end slavery, to help end sexism, homophobia. That's the person that triggers you the negative way. Really? Oh, he's the Antichrist. He's speaking against the church. God does not like that, by the way. He does not like that at all. We're just looking at the guy who's trying to end the child molesting. That's the bad guy. Oh, you're going to have a tough time coming up soon. You're going to have a really tough time with this whole situation. Because, the king is going to look at you like... The king has to weigh it out. The king's going to be weighing out every single person, so I'm just telling y'all right now. I'm trying not to laugh, but I just don't understand where some people's heads are at. I really don't, but it's not my place to question it. I'm not supposed to judge. So, but anyway, so the moral story is, when you have the attitude of gratitude and you're secure, your building is secure, what happened to me yesterday is about as bad as it's going to get. That is exactly how bad it's going to be. It's going to be like, oh, I feel a lot of regression. It's not my energy. Okay, what do I do? But not like in a panic way, but just like, what do I do? And you text with yourself, and you're like, my head just went, go home, dude. Just turn around and go home. Yeah. I can feel it too. And it's you have some music, put some music. It's not rap. Well, I mean, I love rap, but the divine's just about no negative words, nothing that weighs you down, nothing that brings conflict into your eardrums. I'm not telling you guys what to listen to. It can be any type. Like, I listen to Iggy Azalea, but there's certain songs that I skip through, right? Like, but I love Iggy Azalea. I love Nicki Minaj. I still listen to Run DMC. I still listen to Salt and Pepper. So if you like rap, just consider what I do, which is go back into the 80s and, rap that didn't curse as much. Because here's the thing, I swear like a sailor. But I don't like when they refer to women as bitches, and so I don't listen to that anymore. Anything that says that or the N-word, I refuse to put that in my ears. I don't care how good the song was. Because I'm not trying to be pure. I know that for the divine, the divine doesn't like to hear that. Expression is expression, yes, it's cathartic. But when you are casting spells against your own peer groups, then that's not. When you add lyric to song, then be careful what you're speaking. That's all. And so I immediately go back to myself. And so I go, okay, I'm going to go listen to, Britney Spears. And I know it's really whitewash, but whitewash in this scenario, remember, the color white is purity. So, change the way that we think about things. And once you get your attitude of gratitude, then this whole rapture thing, it doesn't have to be that bad. I'm being really optimistic there. But you remember, when you are in alignment and when you are in God's kingdom, you are protected. So you're going to bear witness to all the fuffle and everything that goes down, and you have to be strong about it. But you can't do that if you're already at the gates going, I don't know if I can go in. What about all my friends? Well, how'd you get here? You did the work. Don't short sell yourself on your worth and how much it took you to do this. You know what I mean? And what was it? I was watching something really inspirational. I think it was Super Soul Sunday on Oprah's channel. Because, my magic feed, it popped up, and I can't remember her name. But she had mentioned that when you are going through life, when you become victimized by a person, you have to understand that there's no extension between you. Because if you get stuck in that state, then there's no extension between who victimized you and you. You are now at a lateral point. See what I'm saying? And that's a big one. Well, that's a big one. Because let's say somebody does something to you. Okay, so again, going back to what this whole lesson thing is about. Because of the fact that we're going to be hearing the truth of what people have done. If they know what, they're going to know, and so they're going to be coming to you. Remember, you're the light. You're one of the lights that are shining very brightly, and you are guiding people. Remember, we're not supposed to go in and get anybody. They're supposed to come out by the voice. And so when they hear it, they'll know that it's them. And so when you hear it, just be graceful. They have to tell you the truth, because otherwise they can't move on. And so it's kind of like a catch-22. And so they're coming to you in a very, very small version of judgment, right? Because they're coming to clear. They have to clear. When you are a vessel of God, then people will come to you and tell you things that you didn't necessarily know that you needed to know. But once you know, you can pick yourself up and go, oh, okay, okay. And then you move on. It closes it permanently. There's no way, nobody can hurt you that way. So understand that, because everybody, especially anybody who walks with the divine, has Judas. Everybody gets betrayed at some point. But that's what the woman was saying. It was last night's airing on, it was from June 19th, 2012, I believe it was. And it was a very wonderful woman who's a very great inspirational speaker. Anyway, she was talking about how, your intuition will always, there's no greater betrayal. You think that, I think it was Oprah who said this, but there's no greater betrayal, you think, than a family friend or somebody that's close to you doing something to you that you didn't know about that really hurts you or that really damaged. Oh no, there is a bigger one. You betraying your own intuition. When your intuition says something to you and you say no and it hurts you, that's the heavy one, that's the heaviness to carry, because you did that to yourself. When they were talking about how you should never sacrifice anything for anyone else. You should ever if you are betraying yourself, meaning that if you are in a relationship with someone and suddenly they want to have an open relationship and that's not within your life, you might agree to it to give that person, then you've betrayed yourself and you pay the cost for that, even heavier than what they've done, right? Because you did something just asinine to yourself. Okay. I had to do that, and oh God, that was part of my karma getting. Woo! And so then, when I learned that lesson, now I look at people and I go, no, I'm the prize. I'm the prize. You're not, if you ain't interested in this, someone else will be. We can move this along. Thank you very much for coming by. No ill will. Thank you. Mwah, mwah, bye. Your worth needs to be there. Oh, he's too poor. Really? Boy, you're not very observant, are you? Not my problem. I'm gonna, okay. Thank you for bye. You have to have that strength because this rapture, like, it's not going to get all sunshine and roses for a minute, guys. Everybody has to go through this process, and there are a lot of us that are going to be uplifted and are going to be removed. Like, remember, the scriptures say that those that are worthy will be removed from the earth. What does that mean? I don't understand what that means. Really? Come on now. Live your life in gratitude. Spend every day like it's your last. Enjoy the breath of air. Enjoy every time you wake up. I don't care if somebody wakes you up early and you get all bitchy about it. Why did you get woken up early? Instead of stopping at the fact that somebody... What is the divine trying to tell you? There's no accidents in this world. So, I must need to do something. Ooh, and put your little spider senses up and be like, ooh, what's going on? What's up? Be like a little cute bunny or something. Ooh, wait. Enjoy your day. You get more days if you actually rejoice in your day. And if you are spiritually wealthy, like I am, or like you are at this frequency, then you got to understand that you don't know how abundant your life is going to be once this all passes. But you got to go through it. You got to lead them through. You said you wanted to be a leader, so lead. Got to take them through it. You're just not going to be affected the same way they are, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to watch it. It doesn't mean that you're not going through it. So if you don't want to be a leader, then this is the right time to say, I don't want to be a leader, because a leader has to be like Switzerland. I see. Oh. Meanwhile, inside you're going, this motherfucker right here, I'm a bash. Nope. Center. Oh. I see. I hear you. Inside. And then as soon as that motherfucker leaves, that's how I phrase it. As soon as that motherfucker leaves, you immediately do what I do. I immediately start singing. All we are saying is give peace a chance. And I try to make it light, right? I try to make, because these are big betrayals, y'all. I'm just going to give it to you. This is the end of time. So, like, for the people who aren't going to make it, they're going to have to tell you all of it. And so just be brave and just be like, I have empathy. Start every day with empathy. Go, I remember when I was at that point. What would I have, like, how can I be gracious under this pressure? Because that's the only way you're going to be able to lead this. Because you're going to hear shit that you're going to be like, you did what? And on the outside, you got to go, I see. I understand. I hear you. That's that's being politically correct. Well, not. That's being, you're rising above the chaos. These are the, finals. We're all in finals. And there's no problem with you not being ready to lead. Like, if you can't handle the pressure of being diplomatic, then it's not your time to do it. Just go, okay, maybe not right now. Maybe a couple more lessons. Like, I need to... And take that onus, because you can't get into the gates if you're bringing drama. Like, if you start casting stones from one house to another, just because you're not in alignment with that house anymore, but it's a hypocritical stance, then you're already bringing drama. And like, for me, I'm just going to look at you and go, I can't deal with it. I'm not going to deal with this. So you shut a door. You just shut a door. Because remember, we're being pulled together with people who can work in teams. There's no I in teams, but there is an I in the tiger. Aha. I got the eye of the tiger. Make life fun again. You don't know who stays, who goes. There's a lot of people seemingly going, and they're even being cremated, but actually it plays right into the last of Scripture with the whole raising the dead. They're so terrified of the rapture that they're like, actually, because it's a cold. I can't. And why are we cremating them? I don't know. They just think that that's healthy, but it's not the other word. It's just this word. Yeah. Red flag. Red flag. Red flag. Red flag. So hold your space, guys. That's it for me today, guys. I know that I went on a little bit longer than I wanted to, but the divine, my soul and the divine really wanted to just address this, because it's something that we as a community, as the leaders of these wonderful houses and reformation and all this stuff that we're going to do, the divine is just making sure that we are in a stance of solidarity, and that we understand that our intuition is never wrong. The divine always speaks to us clearest. And so when you are upbeat and you're pure, your vessel hears clearly. It just hears it like a bell. And so you don't betray yourself anymore. You don't add any more karma. You immediately, like, I know that there's this really sweet, and I'm going to tell you this right now. There's the sweetest man that really... something in me just goes, nope. Always asking me questions. It's not their business. Trying to get no. I even told them I'm like I'm celibate because it's not my partner. And I knew it, and so I'm like I'm celibate. Well, that's okay. I still want to. No, you're not. You're not listening to me. And so immediately my red flag went wall. Yes, you know what I mean. You have to trust that voice. You have to. Anyway, that's it, guys. You guys have a great day. I don't want to get all preachy, but you know what I mean. So, go have a blessed day. Enjoy the beauty of every moment of every day. You know what time it is. That doesn't mean we give up. I mean, what kind of leader gives up? This is when you stand and you fight. This is when, but not fight like in fight, because remember, this whole wave stuff seems to attach itself to aggression and anger. They're trying to make the world docile. They're trying to control and manipulate. So if you treat this with aggression instead of thinking intuitively, then you've already lost the war. You seem to be, you know what I mean? Remember, most people are still on the board. They're still like pawns on a chess piece. And so understand that, the divine's trying to ransom those out that are worthy. But you can't do that if they're playing into the hand of the opponent. Then the divine's like, well, I can't really ransom you out. That's an Easter egg, by the way, the fact that I just used that terminology. Alright, guys, that's it for me. Have a good day.